Okay, we're back. Now we've got his face pretty well done. What we need to do is put his eyes in. All my eyes of the animals are basically the same. We'll put a slant in here. It's still a little bit wet, but we're going to try to do it anyway. And we're going to cut that slant first. And try to get it in the middle. You can put an imaginary line up through the center here. And then try to keep it all at the same location. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a stop cut, and I'm going to cut right up to that. Okay? Stop cut, and cut right up to that. Alright, see how we have that coming? Okay. You want to try to make this as even as possible for both eyes, the same length and all that. It's very hard, like I said, to match things up. So, you know, we're not a machine that can do it 100% accurate, but try to get it as close as to the same as you can. Then we're going to take our and we're just going to make a little mark here where the eyeball is going to be. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit larger on this side. See, I'm not as... You can adjust that as you start cutting it. Alright. And so I'm going to take the tip of the knife. I'm going to do one on line here to show you. I'm going to go straight in. Make that turn. Take it right underneath that eyelid. Now, you see how I moved the knife up? I didn't go across this way, because if you do, you're going to cut right into that eyelid. So when you come around and across, lift your knife up as it's sticking in, that you can get it flush with that top, that you're not cutting into the eyebrow there. And then I go back in and let me do it back here where it's a little bit easier to see. I'll be right with you. Okay, so there's our eyelid. Okay, our eye. Our one eye there. Okay. We're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to cut it down. We're going to turn it. Turn it. And I'm going to bring this knife up underneath, so I don't cut into the eyebrow by going straight across, as I stated. And we'll cut that out. I'll finish that one off a line more. Then when you get the top portion done like this, and you want to go back and do the outer layer, okay, and just blend that in a little bit, so it's a little bit of a V cut there. So you're going to cut the eye, you're going to do a stop cut, you're going to come from the inside first and cut it out, and then come back and cut the outside. Alright? Do both eyes that way. The next thing we need to do, we have time, what we're going to do is we're going to flood it a little bit. You can see it a little bit better when I do it like this. Alright? What you want to do is you want to take your knife, tip of your knife, and you don't want to go all the way to the end of the ear. You want to come in a little bit, just like with the bears. You want to just do from a little bit inside that ear, and you're just gonna do a little stop cut. Not all the way to the end either. You're just doing the inside of the ear. Let me take one look here. That's not quite flush where I want it to be. There we go. Kind of shape those ears a little bit. Alright, what we're going to do is we're just going to take our knife again, and we're going to just cut the inside of the ear flush with the head. So when we take our little gouge, which I'll get over here in a second, we can go right up here and pop this out. And you want to go a little bit lower than what the ear is. You don't want to go to the very top, but we just want to scoop that out a little bit. It has a little bit of an indentation. Okay, it's not a big deal to do it, but if you have that bottom portion cut, it comes out nice and clean, as you can see. And you want to fuss with that, get as close to the edge as you can, but be very careful. Alright, so there's his ears, alright, and his mane. So the next thing we're going to do with the mane is we're going to kind of scoop this out a little bit more. And we're going to scoop this in a little bit. Not a whole lot towards the face yet, but kind of just want to scoop this out. And then here you want to scoop it out as well, okay? Because you want to go up to that edge, kind of thin that out a little bit. And this is going to be the back part of his head. We're not going to really outline it, because when we put the mane in with the V tool, you'll see that, okay? And right here where it comes down around, you can kind of scoop that out right there. Alright. You can bring this in a little bit and then scoop this out. Alright. Same thing here. You're just going to scoop it out. Work your way up. We're going to trim this out a little bit more. Make this a little bit thinner because it's way too thick for the size of the head. Head's really, really small. Let me bring this back a little bit. Let me wet this. It just makes it a little easier to carve. Alright. Now I've been looking for spray bottles. Let me just share this with you. I use these hair spray bottles, and I use this brand anyway, but I had another one that finally went out, but it does a real fine mist instead of a spray, and that's kind of what you want with this, because you notice it doesn't load it to death. It gets a nice wide area, pretty even. If you use the spray bottles, these little ones from Walmart work pretty good as well. But the larger hairspray bottles, the pump style, they hold a lot more liquid, and if you are tired of filling the other one up, you can go to something a little bit smaller. See, we only waited a minute or two and it cuts like butter. Alright. Alright. So that's pretty well the face. Now that's a little dark there, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's a blemish in the wood itself. But I was trying to avoid that altogether, but it won't come out. But that won't really matter a whole lot. Alright. So we're going to bring this down a little bit more. You can kind of trim it around his face a little bit more if you like. Have his face sticking out a little bit more, but I think that looks pretty good and pretty proportioned. This might have to be a little bit smaller in here. Just looking at it, you want a little bit more of an oval shape than a round one, and so we're going to just trim off the sides a little bit more and up a little bit more. And this is the kind of stuff you can fuss with after you have it completely done, to know exactly how much of this stuff you need to take off. Alright, we're almost out of time. I'm going to finish up that eye, and we'll be back to work on the body.